Good morning everyone, it's Tutorial Tuesday, and this week I want to show you guys something called snap weeding. It can be very anxiety and panic inducing when you first try it out, but once you get used to it, it's really awesome. It makes it super easy and fast to weed. So what I usually do first, my overall design here is 3 inches wide by about 2.5 inches high. So it's very tiny, thin letters, which makes snap weeding much easier when you have a design like this. You can do it for anything, but this is when I prefer to use it. So I like to create a weeding box. If you've never done one before, you can see I have a square around my design with smaller squares, or rectangles, sorry. So what I do first is I just create my whole design. I make a shape slightly larger than that, and I attach everything to it. And then personally this time I took score lines, changed them to cut lines, and placed it where I wanted, and then I just attached everything all together so it would all cut out. You'll see here I take the corner of my weeding tool and I pull up my vinyl here, and this will remove my excess vinyl. I like to do that first, and then I use this like sticky part here to put when I weed. I can put those tiny little pieces right on there and they stick. So you can go ahead and weed these tiny little pieces on the insides first, or you can save it for after. Since it might take a little while, I will do that later. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and make sure that each of these corners cut all the way to the edge. Sometimes it's a little difficult when you use the score line change to a cut line to get everything perfectly to the edge, even if I align it. So I like to go ahead and make sure I do that. Okay, so now here's how we snap weed. Now you can see up here at the top, my lines are thinner, so that might be a little bit more of an issue than my thicker ones at the bottom. So I'm going to start at the bottom so I can show you guys. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see it a little easier. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull up this edge, and you want to make sure you can grab it. I always get really panicky before I start, even though I've done it tons of times. It's a little nervous. So now just grab a little corner here, and what you're going to do is you're going to rip it really fast like a Band-Aid. It's really easy. Ready? Now you can see that I lost the dot on my eye, and that's okay. I can pull up my piece here. I see it's here. So really try to avoid using your fingers for this because you don't want to get the oils on the adhesive. But you can go ahead, it's a little difficult for me to see, but go ahead and use your weeding tool to pull it up. So you can see there's my little dot. And then I can go over and just slide it off. That way my fingers aren't getting the oils on the adhesive, but it's right there. And then you can go back afterwards and you can pull out the insides. Now for my thinner pieces here, hopefully all we're gonna leave behind are those little dots on the eyes and stuff like that, but you never know. So I just loosen that side up and quickly. Perfect. Now all we lost were the little dots. 1, 2, 3 little dots. That's it. And they're still here because they're tiny. So I'll go ahead back later and I'll pull those up. And then we're going to do the same thing up here really fast. And we didn't lose anything there. And that's how you snap weed.